Let me bring in former Congresswoman Barbara Comstock. Congresswoman Comstock, thank you for being with us this morning. You still have a lot of connections in Congress. What are you hearing? Is it possible that Liz Cheney would survive this leadership challenge for the second time this year, or are the winds shifting a different direction?
Well, I think certainly in February, when you had the vote, you saw that there was a silent majority, 145 members of the conference who did vote for her. So I think you can never go wrong in politics doing the right thing for the right reasons. Liz Cheney is standing on principle. And she, it's clear that this big lie not only divided the country as Donald Trump divided the country, but it's now dividing the party. So Republicans need to turn the page and be post-pandemic, post-Trump, and be providing solutions. And I know when I still get the emails from Liz Cheney, the messaging is all about the policies and talking about maybe, Biden policies that aren't good, policies that we need to be pursuing. And when I hear from somebody like a Jim Banks or the Freedom Caucus, all they talk about is Trump. This is not a cult of personality. We need to be focused on policies. And Liz Cheney is doing that. And I would say, well,
so to that
this
point,
cynical, we'll replace a woman with a woman, said, woe to that woman who would be the handmaiden of these guys, the Matt Gaetz team or the Jim Banks who want to say, we'll just replace a woman with a woman, a woman who will be quiet and not stand up and state her views. That is not a good message for Republicans.
Do you think if that is, for example, Congresswoman Stefanik, that is what would happen in that instance? Is that your view of what her leadership role would be?
I think it would be a bad move for any of those women. And those women you showed pictures of, they're all my friends. But I think that would be a bad position to be in, to be the replacement of a woman who stood at, her ground and stated her position, but who has been a good conference leader. So you don't want to be that woman in the number 3 place that just sits there and smiles and reads the talking points. That is not a good position for anyone who wants to be a future leader in the party. And I think any attack on Liz will only strengthen her. And I think it would behoove other leadership members, including Leader McCarthy, to turn the page on this, because I think there are some, say in the Freedom Caucus, who want to see him weakened by attacking Liz, because there will be people that'll cost him their votes when he wants to be speaker. So he needs to unite this party and move past this and not let the Matt Gaetzes and the Marjorie Greens or the Jim Banks of the party, dictate to him, because I don't think that'll be helpful.
You made a point about how you would like to see sort of policy prioritized over the things that people talk about as it relates to former President Donald Trump. I think you used the phrase cult of personality. When you look at the actual numbers, when you look at the quantitative piece of this, 538 has tracked what they describe as the Trump score for various members of Congress, right? How often they actually had the rubber meet the road and voted for the policies that Donald Trump supported. Liz Cheney actually has a higher Trump score than somebody like Jim Jordan, right? She has voted along the lines of Trump policies more than one of the former president's more vociferous defenders. Does that not matter anymore in the GOP as it stands today? How do you see that, and how do you square that?
Well, it should matter. And actually, I should point out those scores are based on bills that Congress passes and then Trump signed. So Congress obviously was, the body that proposed those laws. So that was oftentimes a matter of compromise. And that's what leaders do. They compromise on bills so they can get them signed and help their constituents. Oftentimes what the Freedom Caucus has done is just said no to everything. So that is not a path to the majority. We won more women and minority seats in 2020 by having candidates who stood up for themselves. They weren't sort of Trump sycophants, with the exception of people like, Marjorie Greene. But you had women like, Young Kim in California, Ashley Hinson, people who have been legislators before, who, Young Kim outran Donald Trump by quite a large margin, as did Susan Collins and others. So our path to a majority for Republicans is to have people who stand on their own 2 feet and state their views like Liz Cheney is doing, instead of having, and it's mostly guys who are the Trump sycophants, on their knees begging, please, Mr. President, say something nice about me, or it used to be, hey, tweet something about me. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.